But yeah, all things aside, in the end of the day, I think there's still definitely a gap um, in terms of level between me and Coco and other players of her caliber. Win or lose tomorrow, I think it's great for me to learn. Obviously, facing a player like Coco is something people like would cue.
Alex Ayala has pulled it off. Alex Ayala has stepped into the spotlight and voiced what a lot of people in the tennis world have been pondering, but nobody has had the boldness to say out loud. Alex Ayala has gone completely off, and she's making it crystal clear to anyone who will listen that in her eyes, in her professional judgment as a competitor who has shared the court with some of the finest players in the world, Coco Gauff is not just outstanding. She is not just one of the greatest. She is the best, superior to everyone else on the WTA Tour. And yes, that includes the current world number one, the reigning dominant force in women's tennis, Aryna Sabalenka herself. After her defeat against Coco Gauff, Alex Eala did not retreat. She did not dodge, she did not make excuses. She walked straight up to the media and she spoke from the heart, and what came out of her mouth was nothing short of remarkable. She acknowledged that there is a massive gap between where she currently stands as a player and the level that Coco Gauff operates at. She stated it plainly and she said it with conviction. Coco is miles ahead, but here is what truly grabbed everyone's attention. She did not stop there. She took things to a whole new level when she stood before the cameras and declared that there is no greater opportunity in her entire career right now than the chance to step onto the court and face Coco Gauff in a competition of this magnitude. Think about that for a moment. Most players, when they suffer a tough loss, talk about what they need to improve. They talk about their own journey, but Ala flipped the script entirely. She said that facing Coco is a dream come true. She described it as the kind of opportunity that an athlete would do absolutely anything to obtain. Those words hit differently because what Ala is truly saying is that Coco Gauff has reached a level of greatness that makes competing against her feel like a privilege, like an honor. And when a fellow professional athlete uses that kind of language, you have to pay attention. You have to pause and recognize that something extraordinary is happening in women's tennis right now. And the name at the center of it all is Coco Gauff.
Thanks for all the support. Super happy to be playing with Alex, and hope you guys keep supporting us. And we don't like Team Coachella, so pick a new name.
Okay, so another name maybe. Another
Yeah.
name. Okay. Bye.
Now some of you might be wondering, is this just admiration between two players? Is this just the mutual respect that athletes display toward each other after a hard-fought match? And the answer is yes. There is deep, genuine respect between Alex Eala and Coco Gauff, but Eala made it very clear that this goes beyond just respect. She is making a statement about who the finest player in the world truly is. She is drawing a line in the sand, and on one side of that line is Coco Gauff, and on the other side is everybody else, including Aryna Sabalenka. And look, it is not difficult to understand why Eala feels this way. When you spend time around Coco Gauff, when you compete against her and you observe her up close, you begin to notice things that the average fan watching from home might not fully appreciate. You witness the work, you see the dedication, you notice the intelligence behind every single shot she takes on that court. And here is something that truly stood out from Eala's experience with Coco. When they both competed at the Australian Open, Coco was not just there as a competitor. She was there as something greater, as a mentor, as a guide, as someone who was genuinely invested in helping a younger player unlock her full potential. Coco was right there alongside Eala, offering tips, sharing insights, breaking down the technical details that she has gathered from years of competing at the absolute highest level of this sport.
Hi everybody, it's Alex and Coco here. Thank you so much for all the support that you've been giving us this week, and hopefully in our next match, a lot of you will come out and watch.
We're talking about Coco explaining the mechanics of the serve, walking Eala through the subtleties that separate a good serve from a truly exceptional one, the kind of details that only someone who has spent years facing the finest players in the world week after week, month after month, truly understands and can articulate. That is not just greatness on the court, that is leadership, that is character. And that combination, according to Eala, is what makes Coco Gauff not just the finest player on the court, but the finest player off it as well. But here's where this story gets even more compelling. Because Eala is not alone in this assessment, not even close. Because former Grand Slam finalist and beloved fan favorite Ons Jabeur has also come out and made some stunning declarations about Coco Gauff that sent shockwaves through the tennis community. Jabeur, a player who has battled the absolute elite of women's tennis, who has competed in multiple Grand Slam finals, who has gone head-to-head with every top-ranked player you can possibly name. That Jabeur came out and said that Coco Gauff is the most challenging opponent she has ever faced on the WTA Tour. The most challenging, not one of the most challenging, not up there with the greatest, the most challenging. And coming from someone with Jabeur's resume and experience, that statement carries an enormous amount of significance. And then Jabeur went even further, and this is where things got truly exciting.
Sometimes I say she's an octopus, she doesn't and gets every ball. She's always there. She doesn't give up. Big serve, Sometimes it's a bit annoying when someone is serving well. She can go anywhere to get any ball. I mean, she already won.
She stated that even Aryna Sabalenka, the current world number one, the player who has been absolutely dominant in Grand Slam tennis, does not match the level that Coco plays at when it comes to movement on the court. Jabeur essentially gave the tennis world a tactical breakdown, and part of that breakdown included exposing what she sees as a genuine vulnerability in Sabalenka's game. According to Jabeur's professional assessment, Sabalenka can be exploited. You make her chase after every single ball and cracks begin to surface. And here's the part that truly stings for Sabalenka. She gets irritated easily on the court. The frustration becomes visible for everyone to witness. We have all seen those moments, the racket smashing, the emotional outbursts, the visible aggravation when things are not going her way. Jabeur is saying this is a tactical vulnerability, and she is saying Coco Gauff exploits it better than anyone else on the entire tour. Compare that to what Jabeur said about Coco's work output, which she described as simply unmatched. Coco covers the court like very few players in the history of this sport. Her ability to track down balls that seem completely impossible, to convert defense into offense in the blink of an eye, is what distinguishes her from everyone else in the game. And when one of the most respected players on tour is making that comparison directly and publicly, it carries tremendous significance.
To every corner that she hates,
Yeah,
she'll
you
get
break her
super
rhythm.
frustrated.
Yeah, yeah.
And if she's very fast and doesn't let me do my shots, that's very frustrating to me.
Honest with you, like I feel like when you played her, you really were able to take over her speed very well. Like I feel like the more you played her, the better you got in control of, like, even when she was dominant.
Now, of course, all of this is happening against a backdrop that is making one particular person very uncomfortable, and that person is Aryna Sabalenka, because Sabalenka cannot stand to witness Coco's continued rise in this sport. And now with players like Eala stepping into the conversation with more and more voices from within the tennis world aligning behind Coco's greatness, the situation is becoming increasingly uncomfortable for the world number one. Think about what is unfolding here from Sabalenka's perspective. She is sitting at the top of the rankings. She is the world number one. She has been one of the most dominant players in Grand Slam tennis. And yet the players who compete on the same tour, the players who face her and face Coco, are coming out and saying that Coco Gauff is functioning at a superior level. That has to sting. That has to get under her skin. And given everything we know about how Sabalenka responds when things do not go her way, this is a situation that is only going to grow more intense as the season progresses. Yes, there are people who will point out that Coco is currently facing some obstacles when it comes to capturing major tournaments. That is a reasonable observation. The Grand Slam titles have not been flowing in the manner that many anticipated given her incredible talent. But here is the thing. Even with that taken into account, even considering where Coco currently stands on the Grand Slam leaderboard, the players who compete against her every single week are still saying she is the finest. The level of skill, the movement, the mental strength, the leadership, the heart, all of it points to one undeniable conclusion. And that conclusion is the one that Eala had the courage to stand up and declare out loud in front of the entire world. Coco Gauff is the finest player on planet Earth. The admiration is growing. The voices are getting louder, and whether Sabalenka likes it or not, the tennis world is beginning to speak with one unified voice on this subject. Eala initiated this conversation. Ons Jabeur added fuel to the fire, and now the whole tennis world is paying attention. The era of Coco Gauff is not approaching. It is already here, and players like Eala are making absolutely certain that everyone recognizes it. That is all for today. Make sure you like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree with Eala and Jabeur? Is Coco Gauff the finest player in the world right now? Let us know. We will see you in the next one.